Hi, my name's Bud Blackburn. Um, I've been a paranormal investigator for most of my life now. Um, and we went and did an investigation of the Brookstown Inn in Winston-Salem. It's an old, we used to be an old cotton mill that over the years has been converted into a bed and breakfast. It, um, it originally was the first industry in what was used to be called Old Salem, and I was doing some research for a ghost tour in the area, and one of my buddies actually told me about the place. I'd never heard anything about it, and so I went in to talk to the manager at the time to see if there was um, anything true to some of the stories. And kind of interesting. At the time they pushed me off to the assistant manager, and he started telling me about things that he had happen to him while he was there. So I piqued my interest, and I asked them if we could come in and investigate. And at the time they weren't too keen on it, so we kind of backed away and went on about our business. And then about 6 months later, I get a call from what was the assistant manager. He'd now become the manager, and he had kind of had something shake him up and wanted to know if we were still interested in coming and checking it out. So I go in, and he takes me into uh, their conference room, so that's a big dining area, and he shows me how these tables are all laid out, and explains that he had set up for a big banquet, and had all the tables laid out just right, all the chairs are slid in and everything. He left the room, locked the doors, and went about his business. Then when it came time for him to open it up for the banquet, he went and unlocked the doors, opened the doors, and he noticed that one of the tables inside, the chair had been slid back, and the place setting had been pushed forward, like, as if somebody had sat down there and put their arm up on the table and moved everything out of the way. And he knew nobody could have possibly been in there because he had the only key. So we went in and set up and did an investigation one night, and we set up in this room. They have the main inn area is only about 2 stories, but they have a third level in one small section, and in that room is just a couple of rooms up in this one little area, and but all these rooms are kind of kept, historically accurate, old furniture and everything there. And he told us that most of the staff and people that had stayed up there um, had reported hearing children running up and down the hall at night, which he knew there were no kids in there, and said that stuff would be moved around, so he wanted us to set up in that room to focus on it. So we set up our cameras in there, and got ready, and I did a walk through the place with the manager, and he told me about how the staff and himself that had kind of thought that the original owner's mistress was the one responsible behind the hauntings. That he had, it was a Moravian town, and it was frowned upon, obviously, to have a mistress. But since he brought the first big industry to the area, it kind of just got overlooked by the church. His name was Mr. Fries, and Francis Fries, and he had a whole family, and a wife and children, all everything in the town, and lived in his house. But he also had his mistress, who had lived in the mill, actually, kind of watched over things at night. So they all pretty much thought that she was the one that was still haunting the place, and her name was Sally. And they actually had found paintings. They had paintings of the entire Fry's family, along with a painting of Sally that originally hung in the mill. And they still had them up in the attic, and they brought the paintings down. Or they brought the painting down to Sally, and showed us that. So we actually got to see who it was that we thought was haunting the place. And he walked me around the location, and took me to several areas where guests and staff had heard talking, and thought that they saw stuff moving around and stuff of that nature, and pointed out a few rooms that seemed to be more active than other areas, and that was pretty much our little walkthrough. And while I was doing that with him, the rest of our team um, setting up in the room where we were going to be staying for the night. And so I got back to the room, and we decided to set up just a static camera in the room, but I was more interested in checking out some of the other areas, especially the banquet hall where the manager had his experience. So we set out, and I'm walking my team through the huge, what used to be factory, and trying to point out key locations that I wanted to hit on, and I was just trying out. I just had a new sensitive join our group, and this was her first investigation work, and so I tend to deliberately not tell. I don't tell anybody in the team pretty much any of the information. I just want them to be open to expect anything. But I make a point not to tell my sensitives anything. So we're walking through, and one of the hot areas that the manager had pointed out to me, I tried to just walk on by that room and just to see, if my sensitive, her name is Tiffany, if she would pick up anything. And sure enough, I walked right on past the room, and she just stopped and looked right at this door, and was like, "Hey, what's in here?" And I was like, "Oh, we'll get back to this room later." And I just kind of grinned and kept on walking because, it kind of got me that she picked up on one of the rooms that they reported a lot of activity in. And in one of the rooms, I did my walk through with the group and showed them where I wanted everybody to be, and then we just kind of paired off and went our separate ways, and everybody, because it was a big building, we were only there for the night, so I wanted to cover everything. And so I'd left Tiffany in the one room that she'd pointed out, and went on to another area that was had once been, we think, Sally's room when she lived there, and it was basically up in this tower. They had towers on the corners of this building, and these towers led up these narrow stairs into this big one room areas. And I went up this room, and I had gone up there with my wife, and we were up there checking things out and taking pictures of everything, and that's where the family paintings were all stored. So they're all lined up against this one wall, and we're taking pictures of all that. And there's a lot of other, the motel or hotel inn had pretty much converted this area into their storage attic. So there was other kinds of decorations and stuff that they had gotten done with and then put up in here. And there was this one desk right in the middle of the room, and I'd asked the manager about this desk, and he told me that they used to have a maintenance guy. And, he worked there during the days, and that he used to use that area as his little office area when he was kind of big and stuff there at this desk. And I checked out the desk, I checked out everything, and there was nothing on the desk. There was nothing. I think there was like a pencil in a drawer. Other than that, there was nothing around this desk. And my wife had actually tripped over a board on the floor, and it was like nailed to the floor. And so I made note of this board on the floor, and we got pictures of that. And so we sat up there for a while, and it was really, really cold when we went through this investigation, and this tower area was just even more cold. There was panes of glass missing from the windows, so it was freezing cold in there. And we stayed up for a while, and I left a audio recorder running, and we decided to leave that room and go check on the others. And we went back down, and Tiffany and one of our other investigators was still in that first room, and they were kind of freaked out about the room, talking about how it they thought they were hearing voices and stuff in there, and I wanted to go back and into the attic area where Sally's room was at, and check it out some more. And and the one of the managers had actually decided to tag along. I think it was the restaurant manager. She wanted to tag along with us as we went back up there. So, and my wife decided she didn't want to go back up there, so I left her down in the room with Tiffany, and took our other investigator upstairs with me and the manager. We went back up there, and I was going to pretty much retrieve my recorder, and I was talking to them about things going on, and we get back up into the room, and on the desk was laying a BlackBerry phone charger that was not there just a few minutes ago. The room stayed locked, so nobody could have gotten up in there. And so I was sitting there talking to the manager, so I was like, this is really weird. These things are here that weren't here before. And so the restaurant manager actually remembered that just a few days before their head chef had his BlackBerry charger had turned up missing, and there's no way that anybody could have been up here. This room had actually been locked for months before we showed up, and so I told her, I was like, well, this might be it. I was like, I explained how during some paranormal activity, things actually get ported from one place to another. Just basically take something and puts it somewhere else. And we were sitting there talking about it, and I was explaining to him how it was not there earlier. I'd actually taken pictures of that disc with nothing on it. And then I happened to look down on the floor, and there was another phone charger that was there that was not there before. And so we were really excited about that. And then I looked down and found a child's shoestring that was right by the board that my wife had tripped on earlier. And I knew for sure it wasn't there. It was a bright yellow shoestring with stars and stuff on it. And I'd actually taken a picture of that board before, and I knew the string wasn't there. So we, thought that was. I told him, I said, if stuff starts messing around the hotel, you might want to come up here and check. And so we left that area and locked the door behind us, and went back. I collected the rest of our group, and we decided to go back up to the room and check our stuff there. So we went back to our room and kind of regrouped and checked our cameras, and didn't really see anything on it. And I said, well, okay, let's go on down to the banquet area. And this was in this banquet area. One of the other things that had happened in there prior to our investigation was that the former cook had been in that area and had taken a picture, and had actually gotten a picture of what he claimed to be salad. And so I was really wanting to see this picture, and the manager had gotten on the phone with us and tried to track down the former cook and see if we could get a copy of that picture. And of course, it kind of led to a dead end. And so we got them to lock us into the banquet area, and we're in there by ourselves, all lights out, and we're taking our pictures and everything. And I remember Tiffany was over in the corner, kind of talking as if she was talking to somebody, but I knew it wasn't nobody else in the group. There was only 4 of us there that night, and the other 3 of us were sitting over at a table and kind of talking about things. And so I was sitting there, I started taking pictures of Tiffany, and I heard her over there talking away like she was talking to somebody. And then this real unusual thing showed up in one of the pictures. It looked like a beam of light coming off of her finger, and it wasn't a straight beam. It kind of went off in a zigzag pattern and went off the edge of the picture. And I remember actually seeing it on the camera display, which usually I don't see anything, but I saw this, and so I went over to her, and I was like, I asked her, I said, well, what kind of equipment have you got on you? And being our sensor, she really didn't carry a lot of equipment. I thought she had one of our digital thermometers that had a laser pointer on it. And I kept saying, where's the digital thermometer? She goes, oh, I don't have it. I was like, well, I know you got it somewhere because I see it. I see the laser in the picture. And I was just wanting to kind of see if I could recreate that picture. And she kept saying she didn't have it. So I actually literally searched her pockets, and she really didn't have any other equipment on her. And I was like, well, this is the craziest picture. So we went about trying to recreate this picture, and I probably took another 100 pictures of her from, had her standing back where she was at, and I was standing away, and back where my original location, tried to redo this picture and couldn't do it. And So I was like, well, we'll look at it later. And then we went and checked out the kitchen area and the bar area of the restaurant, and then finally we moved on to this last room where the manager said that he had had a guest report that some little boy had she'd woken up in the night and this little boy was sitting at the foot of her bed asking her what the TV was. And, she when she got fully awake, she realized this boy was wearing clothes that were 200 years old, and he didn't quite fit in with everything. And she realized he was gone, so she went and asked the desk whose child was in her room, and she eventually checked out early because they couldn't figure out who this little boy was that was in her room. And so we sat up in there for the next few hours and didn't really get anything. And so we decided to call it a night, and we packed up and left. The next day, I'm at home and I'm going over our evidence, and I come across the photo of Tiffany with this beam of light going off her finger. And I'm looking at it some more now. I've got it on the computer, and I've enlarged it and looking at it, and I still can't figure out what in the world this beam of light is. And then I happened to click over to the very next picture I'd taken. And when I first saw the picture, I just thought it was, uh, out of focus, blurry picture of Tiffany off in the dark in the distance. I figured my flash just didn't get the picture just right. And so, there's just this kind of blob image. And so I looked at it for a minute, and I realized I was like, well, hold on, something's not right here. I could make out the corner of the ceiling in the picture, and from the height of what this blob was, it was way too tall to have been Tiffany. So I start blowing it up, and I'm looking at it real hard, and I realize I'm like, hold on, this isn't Tiffany. I was like, because I can see another image below this blob of light. So I start brightening up the picture, and what comes into focus is that there's Tiffany standing down on the floor, looking at a painting, and that same beam of light that was in the previous picture is still coming off of her finger, and it's going up and forming into this big form hovering, a couple of feet above her head, and it looks like it's forming into the shape of what might be a person. And I keep thinking if I had taken another picture directly after that one, I might have actually gotten a full form of the person. And it was just really weird because it wasn't the same location that the cook had gotten a picture of Sally. And at the time, I was really hoping that we would get a picture of Sally. So I don't know if me concentrating really hard, or if it's because Tiffany was there, or what that had caused this thing to form there. So I quickly contacted the manager and told him, I was like, we got something you're going to want to see. Um, and wanted to set up another investigation to go back in there. We were able to debunk a lot of the stories that come out of the place. The place has been getting reports for years of stuff going on about staff and visitors, and a lot of it, the one area where people kept saying that they were hearing a lot of voices, we found out it was on the second story, but the windows were directly over a courtyard that was pretty much in the middle of this whole inn. So anybody, we were in there the second night when we went back. I was sitting in there, and there was two men sitting down in there talking in normal voices, and it sounded just like they were sitting up in the room talking to me. So I was able to debunk that one, and then there was, I was able to go downstairs to the room directly below it and turn the TV on and hear the TV up in there, almost exactly like it was sitting in the room with me. So the acoustics of the building were really working in the favor of sort of making people think that there, stuff there that really wasn't there. But aside from we never could determine what was causing items to appear up in the attic, and with the picture that we got, we pretty much determined the place was haunted. Maybe not by children and all these other things, but quite possibly by Sally. And since we were kind of directed our investigation towards her, and it seems like the more we focused on her, the more stuff seemed to happen. Um, but I, other than that, I don't know why we were lucky enough that night. If it had anything to do with the weather at the time, or just us wanting it to wanting to have some results, or what it is. I don't know why that we were so lucky with our results. Um, I had people say something about Photoshop, and honestly, I don't know how to use a Photoshop to save my life. I was actually lucky to figure out how to brighten up my pictures the way I did. Um, um, I don't know. I've been investigating the paranormal, going to haunted places and looking for UFOs and everything ever since I was a kid. So I've always pretty much believed in this stuff. Um, but I don't think it really had a big effect on me, other than it was the first. I think that was the first photographic evidence that I've ever got of of a haunting or a ghost. I've had audio and seen a lot of stuff other people had collected, but this was like the first like apparition I'd ever gotten a picture of. So it did, I guess, kind of help reaffirm my beliefs and that in ghosts, and that there's something after after all this. Um, but that was pretty much our experience at the Brookstown.